Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And, looks like Daniel Bryan has been cleared to wrestle. I knew it was gonna happen eventually. Either Bryan would leave and wrestle for Ring of Honor, which he would be able to do because the clause in his contract stated that he wouldn't be able to compete in the WWE ring. They were afraid of him getting concussion, which is very true. Daniel Bryan did all this shit. Remember, 2014, 2013, all those matches against the Shield, he was flying out of the ring. He would miss that move, the suicide dive, like on purpose. He'd bash his skull right against the barricade. And I was saying at the time, I says, this is dangerous. I said, the guy puts his body on the line. I respect him. Bryan had a natural charisma. Not a charisma like Hulk Hogan when he spoke on the mic. It didn't, illuminate. But Bryan had a certain charm about him. And not to, get all homo, but his smile was charming, which even creeps me out saying this, but it was a smile very endearing of like a Hulk Hogan or something. Bryan came across genuine when they were doing all the charity stuff like Connor's Cure. Bryan was like the only one who looked like he legit gave a fuck about the kid. Everybody else there was just along for the ride, but Bryan looked like he was genuinely, fell in love with the kid. And, Bryan, he won my heart and a lot of other fans. And the thing is, a lot of people were questioning the guy, saying whether or not, if he did the yes chant. People were speculating, I think they just like saying yes. It's been a long time since a wrestler has really correlated with a catchphrase that is caught on. Now, Bryan really led the way with that chant, and you could see, when people wanted him to wrestle at WrestleMania. Let me get a little bit of better lighting here. Not liking the lighting. Oh, there we go. Way better. That's why I bought this light, motherfuckers, so we could have better presentation. You could see that Bryan really won the crowd over. And this is something we've never seen replicated, which is very annoying when a lot of fans when a lot of YWC marks, they come at me and say, why are you such a big Bryan fan when you're always putting down all the indie darlings? Because there's a major difference, and if you can't see that difference, I don't know, maybe it's just something with me. I have a sort of favoritism, you could say, but there's a difference to say a Finn Balor to a Daniel Bryan. Okay, and let me put it all in perspective here so you can kind of understand this. Finn Balor has to put on makeup to be somebody. Daniel Bryan has to just be himself, basically, to get over. And this is something that no one else seems to be able to accomplish. Seth Rollins, as many times as he says, man, no one, treats him like a genuine, big name, household name personality. And, Daniel Bryan is not a household name. All I'm saying, though, but out of all these indie guys, Bryan is the most likable. He's the only one, when I look at him, I don't know what it was, but when he was at WrestleMania in the ring with Batista and Randy Orton, he came across like a Shawn Michaels. He didn't come across as a guy that doesn't deserve to be in there. When I look at a match with Cena and Finn Balor, I laugh to myself and I say, this is a joke. This was a match that shouldn't have gone 15 minutes on Raw. It should have been like a 2-minute match. If guys that didn't even get to the pinnacle of a guy like Finn Balor, you had all these guys back in the day that were so talented that were stuffed in the mid card because there were so many talented guys. Everybody couldn't be a main eventer. We always talk about, oh, Piper wasn't a world champ, and we all say Vince McMahon's an asshole for doing that. But then we look at all the champions that we did have, and it's kind of hard to complain with Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair. Not everybody could be champion, and if everybody was champion, it would take away from it. But, Daniel Bryan is a world champion. I don't know, it seemed right. It's also, I've never seen the fans be that consistent on something. That was the last time I saw fans being consistent. They were never that consistent with Balor. The minute he came in, it seemed like he had a bit of, fan support. But then, when he came back from his injury, nobody cared. It's almost like nobody even remembered who the fuck he was. And you look at everybody else now. They don't even care about Nakamura going into WrestleMania. They seem like they care about AJ, but they don't even care about his opponent. They're putting two baby faces in the ring, and it's supposed to be like, oh, we're giving you a dream match. When was the last time you saw, two baby faces going at it in the ring? Okay, there was Undertaker and Reigns, but that's besides the point. They made Reigns act a little heelish. Here we got, clear-cut baby faces, whatever the case may be. Anyway, the point is, Daniel Bryan is a likable baby face. He's genuine. I've never seen the fans get behind somebody so much. The point is, I'm saying, Nakamura, the fans cared about him for the first couple of days, first couple of weeks he was there. Then they kind of, chilled out on him. Bryan, ever since they gave him that match where he lost in 18 seconds or whatever that embarrassing match was. The fans were with this guy from 2012 all the way up until his retirement in 2016, was it? The fans were always behind the guy. And it was, it was impressive. I've never seen the fans really come together. And, after that, it was just copycat shit after that. Oh, this is the indie guy who's worked for 15 years, but you saw a clear-cut difference between a guy like Sami Zayn. Daniel Bryan was an everyday guy. He wasn't that, big and everything like that. He didn't fit the prototype of, at the time when you looked at Orton and Batista. But there was, Bryan's face, something about him. It's a different face than Zayn, or definitely doesn't look like a chubsy fucking wubsies like Kevin Owens. I mean, if you guys can't see this, I don't know what to tell you. But there's a difference. Don't get me wrong, if we were all against indies, then, that we wouldn't have had CM Punk and everything, and that guy had charisma. I mean, that was one guy from ROH that didn't deserve to spend the rest of his life in indie hell. I mean, there's a lot of guys. There was Nigel McGuinness. He never really made it to the big time, but he kind of deserved more than what he got. You had a lot of talented guys. We wouldn't have had AJ Styles. Like I said, he deserves to be there. But there's a lot of guys who don't deserve to be there. There's a reason why you've got schmucks like Christopher Daniels, why they never made it to the WWE. Because they're simply not that entertaining. They've got a big fan base on the indie scene because that's the indie scene. People don't seem to understand something. There's a reason why WWE got to the level that it was, following the first WrestleMania. Because McMahon was very wise. He figured out that you don't just do wrestling, that you can incorporate a lot of different elements into your show and turn it into sort of a variety show. So there's something for everybody. And that's exactly what we got. We got a big variety show that was entertaining. before we knew it, we had, Piper's Pit. We had, This Is Your Life with Mick Foley and The Rock. And, he had all these classic moments. And we had, Mike Tyson showing up. All these big-name celebrities getting involved. And, it was for a reason. Because, people that were fans of boxing, all these different music, when we had like Cyndi Lauper in there, who was, one of the biggest musicians at the time, topping the charts. McMahon was bringing these people in because he knew he could get people from other markets to come in. Oh, you're a fan of Cyndi Lauper. Well, here she is on the show. Oh, I want to tune in to see what she's up to. See, it was genius. And that's the reason why, people don't seem to understand this, the New Japan fans in the YWC, that it's not all about who's the greatest wrestler. It's about charisma. It's about likability. And that's something that Daniel Bryan has. I'm not saying that this guy is, going to change the wrestling business. He didn't change the wrestling business, but he, when they did decide to give the guy a push and, put him at Mania, that was one of the last times that I really felt excited to watch, because I felt like somebody was getting their just dues. And it wasn't like some lazy-looking schmuck like Sami Zayn or fat-ass Kevin Owens or any of these other bums. It really felt like somebody who worked hard, he was patient, and he finally got, what he wanted, and the fans got what they wanted. So I'm happy to see he's, finally they're going to let him back in the ring. It's a bit convenient, though, I must say. He's cleared for the doctors 3 weeks before WrestleMania. I think they were holding off on this announcement. But they'll probably do like Bryan and Shane versus Owens and Zayn, just to get him started off. And then he'll probably have a regular run. They just got to make sure they're careful with this guy. And this is the other thing. Why did they get even rougher in the ring? Like, I don't understand this. Why did we have Seth Rollins dishing out all these injuries right after Daniel Bryan was put on the shelf with, like, his fucking 90th concussion? And we still have people banging their heads and flying out of the ring every 2 seconds. I don't get it with 205 Live. There's a flip every single damn match. I mean, there's fucking 90 flips every single match. I mean, why would you increase the risk following that? If you didn't want this guy to return to the ring because you thought he was too high risk for injury, then why are you letting everybody do all those moves that injured him, like the suicide dive, plus hundreds of other moves that are even more dangerous? And people keep getting injured every 2 seconds. You have Hideo Idiocracy breaking somebody's face wide open, Kendrick. And somehow this is allowed to continue. But no, now all of a sudden, it's fine. Bryan's now cleared. And the other thing about this, you had this whole big emotional thing back 2 years ago with Bryan retiring from the ring due to the concussions, and now and they just announced it on the internet. And something about that was bittersweet to me. I mean, I was like, yay, and like, thanks to, Matt Besner for posting that, on my wall, but a couple of people notified me on here, like Abdullah Shaker notified me, thanks to him too. But the thing is, it's like, I'm not blaming you guys, I'm blaming the WWE. But why didn't they just announce this last night on Raw, or wait for tonight on SmackDown? Why did they announce it on the fucking internet? Why did they leak this to all these different sources? Like, wouldn't it have been more exciting on SmackDown? We get a big announcement. Bryan says, I'm coming back to the ring. I'm cleared. And we're going to take you out, Zayn and Owens. And I'm not writing promos here, but I'm just saying it would have been 10 times better if they just waited to the show to make the big announcement that the big fan favorite Daniel Bryan's coming back to the ring. After 2 years of absence, we thought the man's career was ended for WWE anyway. And he's coming back, and you just announce it like right there on the internet. Oh, I'm reading about this famous wrestler's return. Oh, okay, great. It's like something like it would have been better. It would have been edge of your seat, like Bryan makes the announcement verbally. It's all about presentation. It's the little things that would have made SmackDown worthy to watch. I mean, I could go on to my SmackDown review tomorrow, and I can make the review, and I could say, oh, hey, SmackDown might have been shitty. We all know it's going to be shitty, but I'm saying it could have been less shitty. I could say, hey, well, at least the show's memorable because Bryan announced his return, and I'm excited to see him at Mania, even if it is against those two goofballs. But I'm happy. I know it's a little cheesy that I just decided to wear this hoodie for the sake of the video, but fuck it. Yes, I mean, it's great to see him back. I didn't want to interfere. That's with the hoodie. That's why I didn't wear the belt. But I'm still the YWC champ. And funny thing about this belt is it's fucking falling apart. I don't even know if you could see it really, but when I did my Fabulous Moolah video over on the Brad Rance channel, link in the description. I smacked this belt, and I guess it was weakened after, placing it down so many times. The things fell off of it, like some of them anyway. Anyway, alright, motherfuckers, this has been your YWC champ, and I'm signing out.